Hello everyone, Assalamu alaikum. My name is Hijab Akbar Iqbali and I am student of Rehan School Kiringi campus and I am an author. Today we have the very special guest and whose name is Carl Grant. So let's go in about himself and about his life journey. So hello sir, who are you?
Hi, good to be with you. What do you want to know from me?
Yes sir, can you tell me again?
I said, what would you like to know about me?
Yes. I would like to know you about author and how to live the abundant life. So
Okay. Well, let me give you a little bit of background about myself. I live in the United States in Austin, Texas. I am married going on 30 years this summer, and I have five adult children. My youngest is 20, and he's a student at Baylor University. I've spent most of my career in professional services business development. I was the first business development hire at PricewaterhouseCoopers, and I ran global business development for Cooley, an international law firm, for 20 years, where we experienced tremendous revenue growth during the time that I was there. When I joined the firm, we had 310 million in revenue. When I left the firm, we had over 2 billion in revenue. So I left that position 2 years ago, and I've started my own business. I have a consulting practice, and I have a technology business with my son that helps companies raise capital. I am also chairman of a life sciences company that's curing previously thought incurable diseases, and I published my first book at the end of last year. It's called How to Live the Abundant Life. And so I took about 3 years to put that together. And would you like to know more about what's in the book, or what would you like, Hijab?
yes, sir. So my next question from you, can you tell me what inspired you to write How to Live the Abundant Life?
Yeah, sure. I'm like I said, I'm a little bit older than you. I've lived a lot of my life, and over the course of living my life, I've learned some things that I thought could be very helpful to other people. I live a very good, happy life, an abundant life, and so I wanted to share some of the things that I learned over the course of living my life with others, so that they could learn how to improve their lives as well. So I talk about finding your purpose. A lot of people wander through life without a purpose. I talk about how to maintain a sound mind. So many people just think whatever thoughts pop into their head. They don't control what they think. And I talk about how to control what you think, how to grow spiritually, how to maintain a healthy body, how to pursue personal growth. I've achieved some things that I thought would be impossible to achieve, like getting a private pilot's license and writing a book. And I talk about how to go about doing those things, how to maintain strong personal relationships, and how to establish boundaries. Right? If you're friendly to everybody, everybody will want things from you, so you have to put up boundaries around yourself. How to be likable, how to develop character and build a legacy, and how to be part of a community. Those are all things I talk about in the book, and it seems to resonate not just here in the United States, but also in Pakistan and Saudi Arabia, where I've had readers of my book over there. I've made 3 trips to Pakistan in the past 2 years, and 2 trips to Saudi Arabia. So I have been to Karachi, Lahore, and Islamabad over the past 2 years. I have lots of friends over there.
Oh, that's awesome. Sir, next time when you come in Karachi, so please visit our school, Rehan School Kirangi campus.
That would be nice.
Okay. My next question from you: can you give us a brief overview of what readers can expect to learn from your book?
Yeah. So each of those topics that I mentioned there, I talk about personal stories. I talk about how to apply these lessons in your life, and then at the end of each chapter, I have a little kind of workbook where there's several steps you can do to implement these things. And interestingly, a lot of my readers have found those little end of chapter workbook things very useful. And so I think that what you can expect to take away from this book is you might you might not want to do all of these things that I talk about, but you might have one thing that you seize upon and you say, "Boy, this is for me. I'm going to do this. I'm going to improve the way I think, or I'm going to improve my health. Or you might read the chapter on growing spiritually, and you might say, I want to improve my relationship with God. And so I talk about doing some things that could help you grow in your faith. So different parts of the book may resonate differently with different people.
Thank you so much for your answer. And my next question from you: are there any specific challenge or obstacles that prevent people from living obediently, and how does your book address them?
Yeah, there are obstacles. So a lot of people just go through life and take what comes at them. They're not proactive at all, right? They're born into a family, they're born into a circumstance, and they think that they have to remain in that circumstance their whole life, or they have a job that they don't like. And they never think about going and changing anything about their life. And so I talk about how to, if you feel like you're going through life without a purpose, how to figure out what purpose you have in life. So for example, a couple of examples I give in the book. I used to be terrified to speak in public, terrified, and then I got over those fears, and I actually found that people, when I spoke, told me that you're a pretty good speaker. So then I leaned into that, and now when I went to Islamabad, I spoke to thousands of people. It doesn't scare me at all now. And so I find myself going out and leaning into that purpose that God has placed in my heart. Another thing that I never knew that I was good at doing business development for professional services organizations. I had no idea, but one day I got a phone call from PricewaterhouseCoopers asking me if I would do it. And I had never done it before. In fact, nobody had ever done it before. And sometimes you have to take your cues from others. And so I talk about doing that to maintain or to figure out your purpose. In terms of maintaining your sound mind, some tricks I put in there. A lot of people worry, they're anxious, they have problems, and they just sit and think about all the things that they're concerned about. Well, I show the readers in the book that if you're doing is thinking about yourself all the time, you're going to be obsessing about the things that you're dealing with. But if you go and you help other people, you take your mind off yourself and you help somebody less fortunate than you. For example, I've gone and volunteered feeding the homeless, or uh, volunteering with kids in the juvenile detention center, the jail. And also I have 5 children of my own. So I don't have time for any personal problems because I'm always focused on other people and their problems. And so it's just a way of taking your mind off of yourself and putting it onto somebody else. And then you end up with being happier because you're not concerned about your problems. And so I talk about little steps in terms of maintaining a healthy body. So many people say, "Oh, I need to lose weight," or "Oh, I wish I was in shape," and but they never take any steps. I don't talk about the obsessive physical fitness stuff that I do, but I talk about little steps you can do just to make sure that if whatever your goal is, if it's to maintain your weight or to lose weight, how you can do that in a very simple manner. So those are some of the takeaways. And then in terms of achieving goals, I talk about how to break goals down into bite-sized pieces so that like if you look at writing a book, it's so overwhelming thinking about writing a whole book. But if you break it down into bite-sized pieces, you write an essay. Anybody can write an essay, right? Or you interview somebody on a podcast, so you get a transcript of what they said, and then you have more content for your book, right? These are all little tricks that I talk about in the book that can be helpful.
Oh, that's awesome. So, sir, I have written my own book about Upwork, like Upwork for Professional. Uh,
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
yes.
That's
So this is my
fantastic.
and so, sir, can you tell me that how I write in my more books? How I write in writing my own more books? Um, if I want to write my own more books about online freelancing platforms. So, can you share your experience? How can I write?
How can you write? Well, you if you have things that come to mind, you could write down. You I found this is my process. I wrote these essays. I had like 9 essays that I wrote on various things that I had information to share on, and then when I wanted to turn it into a book, I needed an outline. And so you start by developing that outline of the content that you want to have, and then you fill in the outline, right? And so if you're doing it by yourself, you might ask yourself questions, just like you're asking me questions right now. Make a list of questions to ask about each of those topics in the outline that you pick, and then you can type the answers to those questions, or you also could do a video like this. So have somebody ask you those questions, and then you answer them, and then you get the transcript, and you could take. What I did was I took the transcript of the interviews and I combined it with the writing, and it ended up completing those chapters of the book. I actually had more material than I needed.
Oh, that's awesome. So thank you so much for sharing your experience. So, sir, my another question from you. Can you tell me that? Can you share some practical tips or strategies from your book that readers can start implementing in their lives right away?
Yeah. So one of the things that I talk about in the book is in terms of maintaining relationships. Um, it's human nature to go and to want people to do things for you, right? It's just human nature. You want to be the most important person, but I tell you, if you want to really have meaningful relationships, rather than going out and being a taker, go out and be a giver. See what you can do for other people. Try to help other people with their needs, and in the end, you'll end up more happy. So it works at home, right? If you're married, if you take care of your wife's needs or your husband's needs, in the end, they're going to love you more, and you're going to be happier in the long run. If you're in the business community and you're having a business meeting, rather than just going and quickly trying to make a sale to get what you want, go and figure out what that other person's working on and what would help make them successful, and help them be successful with what they're doing. And that person's going to want to do more business with you. It works the opposite of what you would think. And so, yeah, going out and making a sale might work for that one sale, but then you don't have a relationship with that person. I'm saying go out and be relational, not transactional. Does that make sense to you, Hisham?
Yes, you are asking me something.
I said, did that make sense to you? To give and not take, and to be relational, not transactional.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. So, my another question from you. Can you tell me that how important is the mindset in living an abundant life, and how does your book help readers cultivate the right mindset?
Yeah. So only you control what you think. Nobody else controls what you think, right? So the thoughts that are in your head are under your control. And so I talk about, the world will tell you lies, right? They may tell you, oh, you're a loser. Oh, you're ugly. Oh, whatever, the world will tell you these things, right? But you don't have to receive those things and dwell upon them. You can change what you're thinking, right? If you affirm yourself every day, and you tell yourself, a lot of people my age, they say, oh, I'm getting old. I don't. I'm trying to improve every day. I'm looking better and better every day. Another thing that I do I'm a believer. I'm a Christian. I read the Bible. I've read the Quran too, by the way, but I read the Bible every day with my wife, and we memorize Bible verses. So I have a whole bunch of Bible verses in my brain that if something is happening in the world that's negative, I can switch from thinking what's happening to replacing it with God's word. So I have God's word memorized, stored up in my mind. That's powerful, right? If you know God's promises for your life and you can think those things, right? Then it changes the way you think. It changes your outlook on the world. If all you're doing is consuming negative stuff, there's so many negative things you could take in out there. If you're filling your mind with garbage and not truth, and then you turn it over in your mind over and over again, that's not a positive mindset, right? You know, there's men who sit and watch violence or pornography, and they just fill their mind with that stuff. And you know, how can you expect to live abundantly when you're thinking evil thoughts, right? I choose to think happy thoughts, pure thoughts, loving thoughts, truths of God's word, and it gives me a positive, happy mindset.
Okay, sir, thank you so much for your answer. And my another question from you: are there any common misconceptions about living obediently that your book seeks to correct?
You know, when people hear the word abundance, they think about material things. They think about being rich and having lots of stuff. And I I address that in the book. You know, it's nice to have stuff, right? But I've been broke where I've had nothing, and I've been a millionaire. I've been both. And you know, it's nice to have stuff for sure, but some of the happiest times in my life were when I had nothing, nothing materially. You know, like when I asked my wife to marry me, I spent every cent I had on her wedding ring. And at that point I had no money. And she said yes. And that was a pretty happy day. When we went on our first vacation together as a family, we had a one child. I did not have money to go on vacation. We ended up receiving a vacation literally from the hand of God. I mean, everything was given to us. We got free airplane tickets, a free place to stay. I mean, it was beautiful, and that was one of the happiest weeks of my life. We packed food in our suitcases because the food was too expensive where we were going to stay on this island. And I look back at that vacation, it was wonderful. So I dispel the fact that you have to have a lot of money to be happy. In fact, I work with some of the richest people in the world in my business, and some of them are very miserable people. You know, they have health problems, they've been through a divorce, their kids don't talk to them. You know, that's not abundance. Abundance is, you know, I'm married going on 30 years in a couple months. I have 5 children. 3 of them are going to be living with me this summer, and they're adults. They don't have to be here with me, right? They want to be here. It's almost like a Pakistani family. I know you all, you know, live together throughout life. You know, it's not like that in America. Kids move on. I have a daughter who lives in New York City. She's an investment banker, but all the rest of my children live here around me. They moved to Texas with me, which is really nice. That's abundance.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much for your answer. And my another question from you: can you tell me what role does gratitude play in living abundantly, and how can readers develop a mindset of gratitude through your book?
Yeah, it does play a valuable part in their mindset. You know, it's best to go through life and be thankful for everything. I have learned not just to thank God for my food, but I now when I drink water, I even thank Him for my water. You know, your body's 80% water. You know, and Pakistanis eat very well. You have no shortage of food in your country. You should be thankful for every, you know, there's every bit of food that you get to eat, because there's people in the world that don't have that. I thank, so a lot of my thanks go to God, because I'm a strong person of faith. I thank Him for everything all the time, all day, right? I know in Pakistan you pray 5 times a day. I pray all day, right? Because I'm thankful. I'm thankful that I have a wife. I'm thankful that I have a home. We start out the day saying thanks. And then when my wife makes my breakfast for me, I thank her. Even if she made it and left, I send her a text and I thank her. Right? People like to feel appreciated. And so, you know, when people do things for you, thank them. Show gratitude. And you know, everybody likes to be appreciated. And when you're thanked and you're appreciated, you appreciate it, right? And part of that gratitude also is, you know, just taking the time to give somebody a compliment, right? I appreciate that my wife is beautiful. I tell her every day she's beautiful. She doesn't get tired of hearing it. So it's part of me being thankful that she takes care of herself. And you know, I give my kids compliments as well. it's important. That's because I appreciate them.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for your answer. And my another question from you: can you tell me that how do you suggest readers maintain momentum and continue growing once they have started implementing the practices from your book?
Yeah. So what I tried to do is I tried to set up lifestyle changes, right? These are not just, when people read a book about losing weight and they go on a diet and then they lose weight and then they forget about it and then they gain weight, right? It's the things I talk about in my book are things that you can implement in your life and keep them in your life forever, right? So the practices I talk about in my book are lifelong practices. So it's about making changes in your life and doing certain things, right? It's about putting these things in as part of your routine. One of the things I talk about is in the book on maintaining a good mindset. Always have something to look forward to. Always, whether it be watching a movie. Like my wife and I like to watch a movie on Saturday nights. If you like to hike, you schedule it out in advance and you look forward to it, right? That way, if you're doing something you don't like to do, like you're cleaning your house or whatever, you can look forward to what it is that you like to do, right? For some people, it's a vacation. So others, it's a visit to a friend. Whatever it is, schedule things always in advance, and then you'll always have things to look forward to. There's just little things like that, and you if you read the book, you'll find that there's hundreds of those little things that when added up, they really make you a happier, more abundant person.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for your answer. And my another question from: can you discuss the importance of community and sport networks in the pursuit of an abundant life?
Yeah. So we're not meant to live this life alone. We're meant to live it in community, right? And so there's different levels of community. I have my family, which is part of my community, obviously, right? But beyond that, I have rich friendships. I belong to a church. You might belong to a mosque, right? You can develop fellowship in those places of worship. And so that people that go and participate in worship like that together, they are healthier, happier people. They're better grounded people. So it's really important to be part of that community. I've not only done that in the faith community, I've done it in the business community as well, right? I have business contacts that I'm regularly in contact with, and I'm trying to help my contacts with their businesses, and in turn they help me with mine. I have friendships that I do things with, right, outside of my family. I live next to a resort, and the resort has a swim up bar at the resort, which is really really nice. So I try to meet a group of friends there every Friday night. We go try to meet at the little hangout at the pool there. I mean, it's just little things like that, but those are relationships that I have with people. And when I've traveled overseas, I've developed some great relationships around the world of people I stay in touch with, and it's really nice. So when I come to Pakistan, in any of the major cities in Pakistan, I have friends who will pick me up at the airport because I've taken time to develop those friendships. So building those friendships close to home, at home, but also around the world has given me so much abundance in life. And I love to keep in touch with my friends that I've made around the world.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. So, sir, lastly, would you like to give the advice with our audience?
Um, my advice is to be open to exploring new things, be open to reading my book. I think you could get it on the Amazon there in Pakistan. I know people have gotten it. You can get the Kindle version. If you don't want to have it shipped to you, you could get it via Kindle. And if for some reason you're having a problem, you can message me and I'll figure out a way to that you can get it. So be open to new ideas, be open to new cultures, right? I have traveled to Pakistan and I've explored all about the culture and the beliefs, and it's been wonderful to learn because it's so much different than it's different, but it's not that much, right? You know, for example, when I was 24 years old, I was an atheist growing up. I didn't have any belief in God. You can do that in the United States, right? It's a very secular environment here. And then I came to faith at age 24, and this is what I'm talking about being open. 10 years later, I didn't stop with reading the Bible. I also read the Quran. Why? Because I wanted to see what the other half of the world believed, right? And so be open to reading the other books, the other books of the prophets, so that you know how other people believe. And then you can have intelligent conversations with them. And then you can develop friendships like I have around the world, where you have mutual understanding of how people are motivated and how they believe. It really makes for a richer life.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much for sharing some insightful knowledge with my viewers and to me. Thank you so much, sir.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Take
Bye bye,
care.
Hijab.